every other video, we're going to go ahead and clean it real quick. Actually, we want to use the tack solution. I was wrong. But before we get around, using the squeegee and getting all the contaminant out, what I like to do is I grab one of these microfibers, okay, get one of the squeegees, and we want to get under the tail light. Sorry, not tail light, the light bar, okay? When I say under, you're going all the way through. Wow, that's squeaky clean. And you want to do the same underneath the light bar right here, okay? And you want to focus on this little crevice right here, this little crevice, this little crevice, and then right here, and then all the edges. And you're going to be doing that all around, okay? On top of that, you really want to also clean up down here. And these are what I call edges right here. So underneath the light bar, the actual headlight, all the crevices right here, the edges, and then also where it meets the fender, okay? In this case, we're also going to remove the towage. And basically, I had already removed mine, so my cables are nowhere to be found right now, but it's literally like right here. You just push this corner right here. Okay, that one's a little bit harder this time. And you just pull it out, okay? And then there's going to be two little connectors, just pull it out. And just set this aside somewhere safe, and we're going to go ahead and do that last, actually. Okay. So once all the edges are done, we are going to be using electric spray. That saves a lot of time. So we're going to go ahead and spray it all down, all around all this area. And the reason why I like removing the tow hitch is I feel like I can use that as an escape area for water, right, once we have it aligned. And then we're going to go ahead and spray our squeegee as well. And go ahead and just start at the top, okay, and then just work your way down. And this is your last final cleaning method to make sure that all contaminants are off, okay? We're just going to go down all the way, okay? And let's go ahead and spray it all once more. And you want to give a good amount of spray. Get every square inch of this, okay? Great, so depending on how it was rolled, typically we try to be consistent in how we roll, but in this case it starts on this side. But if it was on the other side, it's the exact same thing. So we are going to do something called reverse roll. So if you have a friend that is helping you, it does help using like a table. And then basically you can just peel it a little bit, spray underneath it, and then have a friend on the other side and then place it on the actual vehicle. However, I'm going to assume that a lot of people are going to be doing it themselves. So this is what I recommend if you are doing it yourself. Basically, you start from the corner. And I actually cleaned this out in this right here with no slip solution, mainly because I want that to be dry so that you can stick and adhere to the actual vehicle. The film adhere to the vehicle. So you can see, because I didn't have any slip there, it's sticking a lot better. And then we're going to slowly start peeling this out. It's okay, just take your time. There's a little offset right here, so that can be a little challenging. Okay, there you go. Boom. There you go. And then basically go all the way around. Okay, there we go. So now we got, this is the hard part, guys. And once we get to this part, you can kind of make sure that that just sits right there. And then now, we go all the way out. And it gets easier from here. All right, so there's the little hole. Go all the way around. And then you kind of go here, and then you work your way down. And then you go ahead and grab this section. Okay. And one last thing here, guys, make sure, save this. So typically we'll kind of double cut it like this on purpose, and you can actually remove it. So this is actually for the tow hook that we removed, right? So go ahead and just leave this aside somewhere there. We're gonna go ahead and spray everywhere because right now he hasn't been hydrated. Start with the top layer. I would say in the bumper, that is probably one of the more difficult ones to do, right? In terms of like laying it all down, right? So we got right here, making sure it's hydrated. Notice how my alignment is pretty bad right now. Like there's no alignment at this point, okay? Okay. And I think this is why it's so much easier if you just have a helping hand. But we want to show you what it would look like if you didn't. There you go. Just getting every square inch of this completely hydrated. Okay. So I got a little bit of a issue right here. It's okay. Okay, just making sure that it's all hydrated still. Okay. Okay, so we're getting somewhere now. Okay, everything is starting to fold over. Basically, what we're trying to do is try your best to align it kind of as close as you can. So this is what you're looking for right here. And then we have this side right here that's not quite aligned yet at all. We're going to do the same. Nothing is folding over. We're going to loosen this up because we don't want to align this side first. We're going to go ahead and give it a little bit more material on this side. So now we are finally getting ready to actually tack down some spots. I made sure that everything is basically completely hydrated in the center of all this. But if it wasn't, this is a little bit easier where you could hydrate from the top and let the soap run down. So let's go ahead with the first alignment point. And the first alignment point is going to be right here in the corner. You see this right here? And here's what I'm looking for, guys. I am looking for really good, there's no tension right here. Really good line, and then just around it. And then you can see it goes a little bit underneath. That's okay. Okay, so once you're happy with this, and I am happy with that right there, you're gonna go ahead and spray tack solution right into that corner. Notice how I didn't go below this. That's not ready yet. We're gonna go ahead and work our way all the way around here, okay? So the reason why is this is the line that it really needs to stretch across. So we don't wanna tack anywhere below that. All right, let's go ahead and spray. So you're gonna align this top and you're just making sure that everything just fits. I mean, that looks phenomenal right there. You can see the line is right below that, all the way across and all the way across this line as well. Okay, so once you're happy with that, I'm gonna go ahead and just squeegee that down. I'm gonna use some tack solution on those edges. I'm gonna do the same thing, okay? And now I have this corner tacked, this edge tacked, and then I'm not quite ready yet, but I need to move this down. So you can see right now, make sure this is not just falling around. I can move this around. Right now I can't move it around, so that's not a problem. You just want to spray some slip solution all across this area. Remember, I tacked here and here. So now, look at this. I can move this around a lot freer, like this. And this alignment point is perfect. It fits right here. And what this does is it brings all that where it needs to be. And you're just going to tack this little corner down. And I like separating it right here down the line right here. And look at this line right here. If it's not perfect, you just bring this down just slightly, hold it down the middle, and run it across all the way. You do the same thing on this side. Look at that. And then you can focus on getting it out this way, all the way. So what we've done is from here all the way across, we've got it down. We don't have to worry about it. I'm actually going to worry about all this last. So don't worry too much about all these edges at the top. But notice because of the stretch, it literally just falls right into place. So we got this side done. We're going to be doing the same thing to the other side. We haven't aligned this little hole yet. So it might be some time since we did all this. So this is where you want to get it off again and hydrate it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do our best to hydrate it right here. Same thing here. Notice it's a lot easier than previous because we already hydrated prior to this, right? So you can go ahead and feed all this so you can see how I can freely move this around, which is exactly what we want. That's great. So you can see this is about how much you need to stretch. Same thing on the other side. You're not focusing on too much of here. You're really focusing on this top edge, okay? So let's go ahead and grab our squeegee, get it ready. I'm gonna do a quick pre-stretch. Okay, you heard that? Kind of stretching a little bit. You're going to just pull this across, and that is pretty great. Right here. I'm gonna go ahead and spray. And you could do this multiple times, so don't feel like you need to get it immediately. Okay, and then we can go ahead and great. Go on this side now, do the exact same thing. And if you're wondering about, okay, how do I hydrate the center? That's not a problem either because you can see you could pull that center and then put a lot of slip solution underneath there. So let's go ahead and pull this out. It's a little tacky. You want this to move, so let's make sure that it's all hydrated. Same thing, you're not going to focus on here. Focus on this top right here first, and you'll get a nice, oh yeah, like right there. Okay, focus on that edge. Perfect edge right there. Spray some tack solution and go ahead and really tack it down. And then right here, I think I have enough slip. Yep, I have enough slip. I can move this. Nope, maybe I don't. Oh, now I do. I just need to kind of push it down a little bit. Okay. All right, here we go. Perfect. Okay. All right. And then just push that down. And then you can see right here, that line is immaculate. I mean, it's perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead, push it all down. Like earlier, you wanna get pretty much everything from this line out. So you have a lot of exit points. So you can either go this way, or you could also go this way. But typically I prefer going that way because you can see that a lot of water can sit right there, okay? So preferably down or out this way. Let's go ahead and check out the center. And before I do, look at this right now. It naturally is fitting into that space because of the stretch. And if once you release all this, you'll notice that it is fitting perfectly. Look at this right here. So what you want to do is you just want to make sure that it is perfect. So that looks amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and start pushing the water out. Okay, so right now there's some areas that it dried up. That's not a problem. You can just, and this is a good idea actually to do it right here because this does dry out. Depending on your climate, you might want to use a little bit more solution, but you want to spray a lot of this slip solution underneath. And our recommendation is every panel, every at least 2 panels, you do want to mix a new solution. So kind of, I forgot to do that actually. All right, so now that that's all settled, look at this alignment. I mean, wow, that is like perfect alignment right there. So we're gonna go ahead and move it across. You can see right here, I'm just gonna focus on getting this line done first. So, you know, you were asking earlier, you know, why did we remove this? Well, because it's a lot easier to push water into that compared to if this was there. It's gonna block all that water from escaping. Okay, so we got this down. I'm gonna go ahead and get kind of all the water above it as well. So now, next is there's no hole in this side. You can actually pull this up and down based on your alignment. So if you feel like this is good right here, carry on. You could essentially just start squeegeeing, but this is where you would actually be able to pull it up and down a little bit. So my alignment right here, I'm very happy with, so I have no issues. So I can actually start kind of collecting all these bigger bubbles. You want to release some of this. Okay, you see how when I released it, it did that. So that's what you want to do first. Get rid of all these bigger bubbles. Boom, like so. Okay. This one is going to be a problem, I can tell. So let's just go ahead and deal with it. It just dried out, so I just need to do that, and then I'm good. All right, so there you go. All of this is good as long as it's all the way around. Great. So next, again, if you need to move it up and down, just move it up and down like this. If you're not getting enough, I guess, like movement, that means you just need to spray a lot more slip solution. So I'm focusing on this edge right here first. I like bringing all the water down the center. So I'm focusing on the edge and moving it gradually. Notice how I'm following this pattern right here. I don't really worry about that because I can get that later. Okay, again, focusing from the body line right here where you stretched across, and then you're just moving all this water across in the slip solution. Once you get down the center, you're just gonna bring everything down. And what I did earlier, it is very important for you to bring all the bigger bubbles, the giant ones, you just kind of peel this back like this and it will just go away, okay? You wanna give it an air release. You wanna make sure that that's completely off, right? So we're gonna just do a double take, meaning you just do the exact same thing, just making sure that you don't leave any bubbles. Let's spray some slip solution all the way across. Since we started on this side, let's start from there. Actually, let's start from the center, sorry. All right, and you're just gonna go ahead and move upwards. Okay, and I'll show you how to seal this. Great. All right, so you have some fingers right here. No problem, actually just went away even without any sort of tack. Here's one thing to just watch out for. When I squeegee, I start a little bit below that, like a 1/4 inch below it. Make sure you're getting all that water underneath that out. Okay, that is such an important part. You see I left a bubble right there? Make sure I'm really getting that. And just really getting all of this. And we haven't even sealed anything yet. This has some tension right here. You see that? You feel that tension? It's not really that much. I am gonna use some tack solution right here. And then go ahead and tack it. Look at that. We're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. Again, starting from the bottom, right? And then working my way up. Great. Having my tack solution right here where I can see it. Just moving it all up, following that body line. All right, a little bit of finger here. Okay. Great, I got rid of all that. Remember that there's a lot of space underneath the light bars, so you could really kind of dig in. So don't feel so bad about digging in all the way there. Make sure you're starting from the edge right here and then just working your way all the way out. All right, so we got all the top edges pretty much done. I'm gonna just do this one more time. I like using this pointy part of the squeegee, just being very thorough with it. Just kind of using some of this tack and just moving it across. We're gonna save that because we have some moving to do over here. So first step, just so I can give you an overview, is you can see that I left it in this angle because I could literally lift it up, hydrate it if I need to, and then put it back down. That's why I did it in that manner. So let's go ahead and start with this, and then we'll work on this little thing right there. Okay, let's go ahead and, it's been some time, so let's go ahead and just release it a little bit. A lot of slip. All right, so there is a little bit of stretch, and I want to show you how much of a stretch it is. It's about 0.8 inches. If you're in centimeters, it's probably about 2 centimeters roughly. But basically, we designed it where this will pull and you want to stretch it right here across. Okay, so get some practice in. What you want to do is use 2 hands and pull into it and then put a little more force down there, right? And then this area can be edited a little bit as well. So just go ahead and spray all that out. All right, so let's try that again. I'm gonna go ahead and spray some tack, just a little bit. I don't need a whole lot. Okay, and then go ahead and okay, so this was really good, but I went a little too high up there. So if you made a mistake like me, all you have to do is peel back, spray a lot of slip solution, and I'm gonna go ahead and do no slip tack solution for now. I want to see if I could even it up a little bit more. So this is looking better. You can right under there, and the line is pretty dang great right there. So I'm going to go ahead and tack this, okay, like so. Okay, and then go ahead and spray some tack, slip. Okay, so me doing this right now, what I'm doing is now I can move this around a lot freer than I did earlier. So now I can just move this around. Look at this alignment now that I can use, and that looks far better than it was just about a minute ago. Okay, so I got that alignment point really good. Once you feel comfortable, you can go up into that headlight right there. Okay, and we got that down, and you can see that I can stretch this a little bit. Okay. Okay, there we go. And then using all of these channels. And now I have all this pretty much completed. All right, so I ran out of actually slip solution here. So I'm going to go ahead and change to this. Okay. We are going to make sure that we go into this valley slowly. And you can see, I mean, this is pretty crazy, but look at that alignment right here. That was a natural alignment. If you pull it the same way that I did, it should land pretty close to that. So that's really what you're aiming for in terms of that alignment point. But there is a relief cut right there, so you can kind of go into this, okay? Basically, in this position, you don't want to drag the film, okay? So you're gonna have a lot of fingers in this area, so what I recommend you do is once you get to this final stages, spray a lot of tack solution into this area, let it sit. You're gonna start from the center. Again, don't drag the film. That's really the last thing that you want to do. But you see how you're feeding into that valley? That's exactly what you want to do. Okay, so feed into it. Don't drag the film. Okay, so you got it all down right here, and then you got some fingers. That's not a problem at all. If this is in the way, you can just move that away. All right, so look at that clean line now. And then you got some fingers right here. Same thing, you don't want to drag any of this film. You want to push it down, all right? So you got some fingers right here. Let's just go ahead and get rid of it. Okay, spray some more. And sometimes I just use my fingers and just fold over to the inside. Look at that. That looks so good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and make sure we continue this. And right here, it actually goes a little bit over. That's on purpose. You want that to fold over though completely before we start working on the other side. So starting from here, I'm gonna start using my fingers a little bit. Really start folding that down. You see how it goes underneath that body line? That was intentional. So go ahead and just use your fingers. You might want to use a good amount of tack solution for it to really stick in those areas, okay? And this is important because before you align, you don't want this to move. So you really want to make sure this line is absolutely anchored in before you start doing that. Great. So now that we've got all this valley in, we're going to go ahead and working on this little sliver. And the hard part is all done, in my opinion. So we're going to release all that with some of this slip solution right here. Go ahead and remove all this. Go all the way up to about here. This is where it stopped. Hydrate it again, all across. Okay, this is your anchor point right here. So make sure you're looking for that. I just spray some real quick tack, and I'm just gonna do this. You're gonna just go down, okay, all the way down, anchor it. I wanna show you the anchor right here. It doesn't go past this. You're actually a little bit short. You just wanna anchor this corner. This is exactly how it should look like. We haven't squeegeed any of it. You can kind of see the line where I stopped. Go ahead and anchor that down. And then we're gonna go ahead and focusing on this line out here, okay? So let's go ahead and pull this a little bit. We want this to be about 1/4 inch here, right? So let's spray some tack solution right there. And then make sure that this is seamed really, really clean. Remember, in seaming for PPF, you actually don't want it to overlap. So you just want it to, we call this a butt seam. And you just want it right up to it, okay? So you can pull some of the materials into that. But that looks really good. And now we have this little anchor, right? So we got A and B. And then you want to just hold it down, kind of gradually like this. And then you just want to spray some tack solution. And I like using the fingers right here, making sure that it's aligning properly. So this is really good. And then of course the exit point is also pretty simple. You could also exit downwards, right? Because there's a lot that hasn't been tacked yet. So you're just gonna do that until you meet about here. And just take your time. This area, don't try to go fast. You're just kind of feeling it, making sure there's no overlap. And you're just making sure that they're seaming together. And right now, you can barely see it, honestly, the seams. And this is where a little tricky, but I think it'll be okay, is this is where you want to seam it right here, between the two, right here. Okay, so that's the seam. And just make sure that everything's going downwards. And then, this kind of fold it over itself. But now we can go down, and all of this can go either this way or that way. So I like to kind of split it down the middle, make that go outwards. And I just want to be very clear right here. I had a little dry spot, no problem. Spray some tack, some slip. Then you can go outwards this way. And all of that, again, don't ever go back to the tacked area right here. And you can see there's some fingers here, but look at this edge. It gets a nice little coverage right here, so it can fold all the way around. This is where you want to make sure you have some flip. And then start to go outwards. All right, so once you're here, again, some more tack. It seamed perfectly. And then you can kind of hold it. Just like that, okay? And then It's still not quite sticking, but that's okay. Spray a lot of it. And the goal right here is to let it hold that edge right there. That's all you're trying to do. So we're gonna go ahead and do all of this. Okay. Do you see how it's holding that edge? That's exactly what I'm trying to do. And then later on I could kind of dry it and then just make sure. But sometimes, in some cases, you might be able to just fold it over like this. Okay, if not, you can let it dry and we can get it later, but that's phenomenal. I got a really good coverage all around the edges as well, which is exactly what I was looking for. All right, so off to the other side. It's exactly the same, but we're gonna show you again. It's gonna have sat for a little bit, I'm sure, right? Because again, if this is your first time, go slow. But we try to do it where you could get to here again after a good amount of time. And we compartmentalize it to about this line. So you just peel off to that and you could just keep going. So let's go ahead and spray a lot of slip solution right there. Get the tack solution ready. I'm just gonna have it ready, just one spray right here. Okay. So just notice how this was actually misaligned earlier, but once I actually stretched it, it perfectly aligned around that headlight right there. Okay, so we want to make sure that we get all this solution around that completely out. And then I kind of compartmentalize it from this top body line right here. And then we're going to go ahead and just make sure that everything is going down. Yep, that's exactly how I want it. Let's go ahead and push it all out. Okay, so same thing I did on the other side. Look at this alignment, perfect. If it's not perfect, you can still move it around a little bit. All right, so same thing here. Once you get here, you just spray a good amount of tack right here down the middle. Okay, so now we also want to release all this because it kind of stuck again. There we go. Then we could kind of move this around a little bit right here. So same thing here, you're going to spray a lot of tack solution all up in here. And then you can start using your fingers to fold that in. Be patient right here. And then you can spray a little bit more tack. And we're good to go. And then we got some fingers right here. Just make sure completely off into the edge. Okay. Great. So really happy with that part. We have one last part to do, which is the center. And then we'll show you how to fold over the edges on the side. And then we also have our little small one right here. So we're going to do this after we do the center. Let's go ahead and spray that. This one should be no problem, but you can basically pull this and spray more if you need a little bit more slip solution. Really focus on that body line. Whenever I say body line, like it just wants to hold a lot of moisture. So really focusing on that and going down into that area. Okay. And then once you're down, you can start from the center. You see how it's like bubbling right there? You just want to make sure that there's a body line here. There's also a body line right here, going down and over this little ledge right here. And look at, it's created this channel right here, making sure that they're all going away. And in this a little bit more tension area like here, definitely use some tack. And then once you use some tack, you see it just goes away. I got some right here as well. Look at that. Okay, that's good. And then work your way all the way around. Again, focusing heavily on this body line right here. So you see this motion right here? That's all you're going to be doing. And then once you get to the tension area right here, go ahead and just fold that over. Again, sometimes you can use your fingers just like that. Great. You want to do that one more time around all this edges right here. And honestly, you could use a smaller version of this. This won't work fine for me, but that is an option for you. So really focusing on this body line again, and then just pushing all of that in and out. And that is how you seal that edge. Sweet. So while the sides are completely drying and just letting it settle, we're going to go ahead and install this little thing. We actually provide two right here. And it's really simple, but I think the difficult part is it is actually not a circle. It has a 3D shape. It has a concave to it. So just go ahead and peel. And then just do your best to align it the best that you can. I mean, that's pretty spot on right there. You see that? And then I like holding the center, because what I'm doing is I'm actually tacking it a little bit with my finger. And then after that, I could just go outwards and then hold the other side since you already tacked that. And then go ahead and spray all of it with some tack. And then go a little harder this time. And this one, sure that you're getting all this squeegeed out. So to put it back on, let me just show you real quick. There is a cable that is hiding right now from me, right inside here, okay? So it is a 2, I think I got it. There you go. So it's a black and red. This is if you wanted to remove the frunk automatically. So this one just kind of goes in like this. Oh no. There we go. And this goes in. After that, it's just a pressure clip. And then this goes in first. And there's a little plastic clip that actually goes right here. And that's all you do to get it out. We have some fingers popping up right here. So we can go ahead and make sure we seal it. The last step is to actually get the edges. We're going to show you one side, but essentially the other side is exactly the same. So this has been sitting. We typically ask that you wait a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to show you two options, because I think one of the feedback we got from our courses is, you know, some people don't have all day, all weekend, and they might have to move a little faster. So if you do need to move a little faster, get some tack or distilled water, like straight up water. Okay, so we're going to start from the center, spray a lot of this, and you're just going to go into the crevice like that. Okay, that's all you're going to be doing all the way, really focusing on the edge. Okay, that is so important because you don't want to basically have bubbles sitting right around here. You notice how this is so much longer because there's a lot more material right here. This one you can go all the way into that crevice right here. So great. Look at that, really, really clean edge. And then it actually tapers off. If you see this right here, it gets longer because you have a lot more space here. Okay? So that's one option. Okay, if you want to use and kind of do it right away, you use tack solution. Let's say you do have a lot of time. The other option is you could just, this is completely dry. It's been about 2 to 3 hours. You could just use the microfiber, just be careful. And then just use your fingers to fold this over gradually like that. And what this does is it actually soaks up the moisture a little bit while activating that really strong adhesive for PPF. Okay, so that's how you do it. If you have a lot of time, that's typically how I recommend it, just because my workflow when we do installs is I kind of just move on to the next panel and the next panel and so on. So this is a really good workflow, so I can just keep going without waiting. And then after that, making sure, and this is a really good idea to do with this. So even when you use the tack solution, you could use the microfiber. Just kind of go into some of these areas and just make sure you're kind of sucking up that moisture so that it makes sure that it completely sticks, right? Once there is no moisture in the PPF, it tends to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of the adhesive, okay? But the good news is this is completely covered now once you put this trim back into place. So now you have ultimate coverage, full coverage, and you should be good to go. So the final step, guys, congratulations. You finish what we think is one of the harder ones to do. You have finished the front bumper of the Model Y. And the last part is giving yourself a pat on the back and then wiping it down to make sure that everything is good. And I think this looks fantastic. There you go. Great job.